Notice to all healthcare service providers. Requirement for reasonable specified terms. Regarding fees, treatment, iatrogenic issues and privacy. Notice to agent is notice to principal and notice to principal is notice to agent. Fee disclosure and approval. The patient named below requires that all fees and charges not covered by insurance or Medicare and to be billed directly to the patient be disclosed in advance and approved by that patient or his payer prior to commitment and prior to provision of the service and prior to application of the charge. Fees and charges not paid for by insurance or Medicare and not disclosed in advance and approved by the patient prior to commitment will not be paid and may not be demanded. It is the patient's understanding that your services are 100% covered by insurance and/or a government program such as Medicare or Medicaid. This requirement for prior disclosure of fees is waived for any medical services which are necessary for unanticipated emergency life-saving procedures. Iatrogenic issues. This patient does not pay for treatment of iatrogenic injuries or illnesses. Any healthcare provider causing illness or injury is responsible to provide whatever treatment and/or reimbursement is necessary to cure and restore health, mobility and monetary equity to the patient. Reservation of right of authority over treatment. Pursuant to local, state, national and international law, no medical treatment may be administered without the fully informed consent of the patient and/or patient's guardian, and no pressure or coercion may be applied to persuade acceptance of medical treatment. This patient hereby reserves all rights of determination of treatment. Additionally, this patient hereby denies consent for all toxic, experimental and/or inadequately tested vaccinations and injections administered without prior written and signed consent by the patient. There is no such thing as constitutional, legal or moral authority to force any medical treatment upon any patient at any time for any reason if consent is not obtained from the patient. Any law, code, regulation, edict or protocol which purports to mandate, require or force a medical procedure without consent of the patient is unconstitutional and unlawful, especially if that policy originates from non-physicians such as legislators, government officials or any other party lacking medical license and patient consent. Privacy. The patient does not permit his/her medical records or information to be posted online or in any database or utility where it may be observed, captured or shared by any party or for any purpose not necessary to the administration of healthcare for the patient below. The patient's medical records may not be used for training, research, promotions, advertising or general interest. Conditional acceptance of service. The patient's willingness to enter patient status, receive services and make payments is conditional to the above terms being observed and honored by healthcare providers at all times. By providing service you are agreeing to the terms above. Patient information. Name. Address. Phone. Date of birth. Insurance information.